Okay. Welcome to the team call, you guys, Team Empire. My name's Amanda Ratkowski. For probably 99% of you who don't know who I am, um, I am super honored to share this time with you guys and hopefully be able to add some value to you so you can take away into your business as we end the year and go into freaking 2020. Like, that's crazy, right? Um, so who here is like a newer coach? You can raise your hand. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Well, welcome, you guys. I'm super glad you guys are here and showing up for your businesses. So a little bit about me. I've been a coach for 6 years, and I started back in at the end of August 2013. And when I started, I was a full-time student, a full-time waitress, and like barely hanging on for dear life. And just like struggling to keep my head above water. I was living off of credit cards, living off of my student loans, and whatever income I was making in the restaurant that I was working at. Um, and I had been in college for 6 years at that point. I was in exercise science and health promotion. My goal was to be a doctor in physical therapy. Um, and that was like a huge progress forward in my life and for my family because I grew up in poverty. I was a high school dropout. I dropped out in 10th grade. I failed 2 grades before that. Education was not really valued in my house. And so for me to, I ended up getting my GED, and then I went to community college and worked my way up to the dean's list at a university. And I was really, really proud of that. And so I was doing the whole, there was no, I didn't have money from my family. There was no like safety net for me. It was like on me, do or die, and I never had support. I always, always had to find my own way, which I believe like was, I mean, it kind of sucked, but like gave me a lot of tools, in mindset that I feel share with other people. But I was like on this journey thinking the only way to be successful was to go to college and get a degree. And so, because I wanted to change like my generational kind of curse, if you will. My whole family, like I have come from a long line of addicts and like unsuccessful people, like that's just my past and my family and my lineage. But I wanted to change that. So I was like, college was the way. But then I found myself 6 years in, like completely depleted of any sort of motivation. I was drowning in like constantly going and moving and pushing forward and not like I felt like I was spinning my wheels, like I was on a hamster wheel that I couldn't get off. There was no exit. That's kind of what it felt like. And I was newly married. My so I guess I was just like a couple year two into my marriage. And what's interesting about that and kind of what started the whole turning point into me finally deciding to rethink my career path was when my husband and I got engaged, we found out that he had stage 3 appendix cancer, and he was like 23 years old, or 22 actually. And then we got married, and he was starting chemo. Like the whole beginning of our marriage was really stressful, and it was intense because I still had to go to college and I worked a 9-to-5 job at that time. So like I was sleeping in the hospital. I was bringing my homework to the hospital. I had to take classes I couldn't skip. I couldn't leave work. And I realized in that moment, like how on like living on the edge we were. Like if there was one disaster or tragedy, we were like screwed. We ended up like digging ourselves in a hole into debt because he couldn't work and medical bills. It was just this whole thing, and it started our marriage off that way. And I was like in exercise science. My husband was a personal trainer. We were pretty healthy people, but it was kind of like a wake up call in the fact of like wellness, how important wellness was. And we started to educate ourselves on superfoods and on nutrition and cellular health. And at the same time, I was like, I really want to be able to work from home. Like, I want to be able to be more in control of my life. And back then, social media wasn't what it is today, and you didn't see people like online, like influencing and being content creators and just like wanderlusting around the world, working from their phones. Like that wasn't a thing really back then. And so I didn't know there was anything more. Like I still thought, okay, college. So it's like, maybe I want to get into the nutrition side of things and like really help. Like my goal was to help the country and like change the food system, because I was like so mad at the food system in our country. And then I was like, that's really a big task to take on. And I'd have to like completely change my degree and like go for another like however many years. And so it was like during that time where I was like in this in between space where I found my coach on Facebook. And I found her like page, which I feel like most of us now find our coaches on Instagram. Instagram was still so like janky, and we were still using Instagram filters back then to like filter our photos and stuff. It wasn't as curated and fancy as it is today. But I found her on Facebook, and I super resonated with her story, which is something that I'm going to talk to you guys about with connecting, because her story and the way she shared was really inspiring to me and showed me, she kind of like painted the picture. And storytelling is such a huge part of our business, because it's not just about getting the results and DMing everyone. It's about really like painting the picture for people, making them feel something so they know that by doing what you're doing, that it can change their life. Like, how are they going to feel when they sign on with you? You know, like how are they going to feel when they try the program that you're doing? How are they going to feel when they join your team? And so she really painted that picture for me, this life of freedom. So my coach is Amy Silverman, and she was living in Portland, Oregon back then, and I was still in Florida, so that's where I'm from. And I would see her like going on these epic hikes and playing in her garden and traveling and helping people and working out, and that was her job, and she was doing it from home. So I didn't know anything about Beachbody. Like I knew about P90X and Insanity. I actually had friends who did P90X, and I thought they were ridiculous, and I feel so bad. But I used to make fun of them because I was a gym rat, and I was like educated. I had such an ego around fitness, it's not even funny. So it's like if a Beachbody coach tried to reach out to me like when I was 18, when I first started my fitness journey, I probably would have, you know, stuffed my nose or whatever, raised my nose at them, because I was so like ego driven when it came to fitness. But then it found me at such a good time, and my coach, like I believed her, I trusted her. I like knew and trusted. So that's something I want to talk about. So you need to, people work with people they like, know, and trust. And especially in a day and age now where all these big companies and ads, and we just feel like everything's so fake and bamboozled out there. Like we trust people. We trust the stories. Like if I want to try a new a pair of pants, like fitness pants, gym pants, whatever, I'm like, hey, did you really like these? You know, like what size did you get? How do they fit? Like, I want to talk to a real person who uses it. And that's how I feel about everything now. Like, I don't really know exactly what kind of shifted over the last few years, but I don't like trust companies. And I think it's a lot of people, like, we want to hear success stories from people, whether it be fitness success stories or transformation success stories or whatever, because we trust the person more than we trust the company, or like some rando on Instagram. And here's where the connecting part will come into play, which I'll talk about in a second. But so when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. I was not, I was extremely shy. Like 6 years later, doing this call still gives me anxiety, just so you know. Like, I had anxiety, like nobody's business. I, like in high school, this is probably another reason why I dropped out, because I hated it so much. But whenever there was like a presentation we had to do, I would simply just not do it and collect a zero. I was like, no. They would call on me. I'm like, no. Like, and it's like so bad, because I wish it was different, but it is what it is. But I was so afraid of talking in front of people. I was so afraid of what people were going to think of me. I was so afraid of this and that. But I saw the potential in this opportunity. And I had more faith in myself than I had fear of what people were going to think. Like, I saw that other people were doing this, and I was like, why not me? You know, like, I can do this. I can overcome. I've done hard things in life. I can overcome my fear. I can just freaking do it, you know? And so I started doing it. Like, I started sharing on social media. I was the person who deleted every picture of myself because I hated everything about myself. Even when at one point in my journey, I got down to like a size 0, which now sounds crazy because I'm like an 8 or 7. And I'm like fit and healthy, but I got down to a 0, and I was super obsessed with calories and just like feeling skinny. That was like a really distorted part of my journey many, 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 many years ago. But I never felt good, even when I was super small, because it wasn't good in here, in my head. And I wasn't doing like healthy activities, you know, I was just like obsessing over calories and eating special K bars, you know. But where was I going with that? But yeah, I used to delete every picture of myself. I was not confident. But again, I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I just jumped out there. And I think what helped me build confidence in this business was the fact that I knew I had a community, that I had this team, and I wasn't doing it by myself anymore. And that by me showing up, I can give someone else hope. So I think by focusing on other people gave me confidence to show up. One of the best things about this business, I think, is that our job is to help other people reach their goals. Our job isn't to be interesting. Our job is to be interested. And focusing on other people and helping them reach their goals really helped me feel confident enough, because I wasn't thinking about me all the time. So I didn't think, like, I used to think Success Club was really hard. I used to think like, I was like, how can I be successful in this business? And I just kept showing up on every call. I kept showing up on every training. I enrolled into every single Diamond Dash, even when I didn't hit Diamond for like 3 Diamond Dashes. I like kept showing up, you know, because I was like, as long as I show up, as long as I'm here and have an open mind and keep my brain as a sponge and keep implementing, something will click for me. And honestly, you guys, within 18 months of signing up as a coach, I was going full time. And 18 months is not a long time. It's a year and a half. Unfortunately, a lot of people give up too soon. They're like, this is hard, and they don't wait for the magic to happen. So I ended up replacing my waitressing income in 18 months. So I've been a full-time coach for 4.5 years now. and it's given me so much. But I want to talk to you guys about how you can end the year strong. So I started in this time of year, and a lot of people are like, oh, fourth quarter is so hard. And I'm just like, what? This is the most exciting time. Like, yeah, it might be a little challenging because people want to like layer on clothes and get fluffy, you know, and like fall asleep till the new year. But for me, I think it's the most exciting time because we get to prove people wrong. Like, who doesn't like proving people wrong? Like, who doesn't like a good underdog story? Like showing up when people aren't showing up and being the one who's steadfast. Like that is super motivating to me. So I've been calling Q4 2020 preseason because like game day is January 1st, pretty much. Like people are ready to finally change the game, right? They're ready to like feel good after being lethargic for like 3 months in a row. So what we do in this season is going to determine what happens next season. So it's like, it's time for us to train for game day, okay? So I want you guys to put your foot on the gas in every area of your business, starting with your own journey. So I have had a struggle in the last year or so. My hormones were all out of whack. I had a really hard 2018 personally in my life, and I gained 20 pounds. For the first time since being a coach and losing that first like 15 pounds, I haven't gained weight until like last year, like within the last year. So it was really hard for me. I'm 32. So I think my body changed a little bit. Lifestyle changed. I moved to Nashville. I now live in a city after living in the middle of the woods for 4 years. So it was like a lot of lifestyle changes. I started drinking more because it's Nashville and it's kind of like that here. People like you go out and you have drinks, like that's what you do. So that's just, you know, and I was like, whatever, I was embracing my new roles, right? And I was like super like body love, and I was still working out, I was still drinking my shake. I was just having a lot of stress. I was having a lot of anxiety. Like my anxiety came back full force because after becoming a coach and working on myself those first few years, my anxiety almost felt cured. And I'll say that it's probably never cured if you're somebody who has anxiety. I don't think it ever goes away completely. It's like something you have to continually treat yourself. Or I mean, if you do medication, that's okay too. It's just I'm not there. And if I can help it, like I would rather not do medication. So I treat with like meditation, exercise, nutrition. So I wasn't meditating. I was like I was doing my workouts and I was following programs, but I wasn't like, I feel like I was giving it maybe 70%. And my nutrition was maybe 70% also. And then I was drinking on top of it. So when Morning Meltdown came out, I was like, bump this. Like, I'm tired. I don't want my rolls anymore. Like, I want my abs again. I want, like, because it was the summer and my friends have a pool and they're like, yeah, let's go to the pool. And for the first time in like 6 years, I was like, I don't want to go to the pool. Like, I don't want to put on a bathing suit. It doesn't even really fit me anymore. Like, that was weird for me, you know? And I was like, okay, this is kind of like a wake up call, you know? So Morning Meltdown came out and I was like, I'm going 100% all in. And so I've been doing the workouts every single day. I quit drinking. And I will say that is a pretty big part of like my progress that I've had so far, mentally, spiritually, physically. And like I'm not eating 100% clean. Like I still have treats because life, like what's life without pizza and sushi? I don't want to know. So yeah, I've gotten amazing results. If you can totally check out my Instagram. It's Amanda Rutkowski Fitness. If you want to keep that. But I want you guys to go all in with your program. Like, do it like it's your freaking job, because it is, right? Like, our job gets to be our fitness. How cool is that? And we're all in different phases. Sometimes you want to be fit-ish, you know, like I was cool with being fit-ish too for a while. And then all of a sudden I wasn't, you know, and that's okay too. Like, wherever you're at in your journey, that's okay. But I want you guys to, I think the most important thing is the energy that you put out, right? The energy and excitement. So if you're not feeling pumped about your fitness journey or your nutrition journey or whatever, something has to shift for you. So you're feeling that pump. So you're putting that energy out. So, and this goes in everything, how you connect, how you have fun, and how you're building momentum in this preseason, okay? So number one is to like really, really get committed to your program if you have not already. I'm doing Morning Meltdown 100 like obsessively, and I'm doing another round, and that's all I'm talking about. Like, I'm just leaning into it 100% and like making it my brand. And so that's the first step, because how you have fun and how you show up on your social media starts with your energy, like I said. So my best tips is like starting your day off in a joyful place, in an energy producing place. So doing your workout first thing in the morning, doing your personal development, even if you have to listen to it, especially if you're super busy, I think listening to it is the best anyway, because I feel like it cuts through your own negative self-talk. I think hearing it is really important. And then do something that brings you joy in the morning. So maybe dancing or playing an instrument or singing or whatever, like something that is not fitness related, not Beachbody related, but brings you joy in the morning. Maybe it's tending to your garden, like whatever it is, you know? So you're starting your day in a positive space where you're filling your cup, and then you can like pour it out to your business and the people around you for the rest of the day. And I totally get, like, we all have different schedules, but if you can make fitness part of your morning routine, I would absolutely recommend it. It's worth waking up early to do. And I'm not a morning person, but I'm telling you, it's like definitely worth it. So some ways that I like to have fun on my social media is I do like a pre-dance party on my stories. I use the Triller app, and I just like dance around while I make my Energize, and then I tag people, and I share theirs when they do one, and they tag me. I share theirs on my story, so it like shows the community, and it's fun, and shows that you're not doing it by yourself. And other ways, like you can have fun with your team, just like having more like not just team calls, but like group little powwows and stuff like that, and like really connect with them. So it's not just like all business all the time, all grinds. Like, you want to build that connection with them so that you guys can have more fun together. And people want to show up when it's fun. You know, people don't want to show up to be scolded or like just like grind away. Like, reaching your goals is fun. Like, envisioning your dreams is fun. Like, why not do a little powwow where you're making a vision board together, or something like fun, like creative with each other, you know? Like, I just recently did a powwow with some of my girls who are working, and we did, hey Emily, we did a little powwow to talk about like what we could do to take the team to the next level. How can we all add value to the team page? And that was actually really fun, because it's you as your team leader doesn't mean you have to do it all by yourself. Like, you have a team, you have people. So you guys should be connecting and finding different ways to like move your team forward. And I think connecting with other leaders, like even if they're emeralds, they're a leader on your team, like they're working. So that gives space for them to get creative with you, and you guys can do this together, because if you want it to be a team culture, you guys need to do it together versus you being up here and them being down here, you know? Like, we're all here, we're all going, you know, like marching together. So those are some ways I like to have fun. Just like telling, I don't know, like just being yourself, you know, maybe you're a funny person, be funny on your social media. Like, even if you think it's stupid or an inside joke or no one's gonna get it, like, you will find your people. Like, I love Jurassic Park, and when Jurassic Park was on, I was like singing the beginning song of the old Universal whatever on my stories, and I thought, like, why would I ever do that? It's so silly. It's not like business related, but people thought it was so funny. And just like connecting with people and being yourself, because people want to work with people they like, know, and trust. So ways that you can connect with people, I think, really lies in your stories and how your day-to-day is going and how you're talking. Like, you don't want to always be inviting, you know, like, you want to be connecting, you want to be building relationships. And I think that's the fun part too. So what I've been doing on my, like, so we have our Success Club system, right? So it has the sections that is initiate connections and add followers, right? That's one little tiny thing right here. It says 20 minutes. What I do, and it's because I have more time, but I think it's worth doing. So my power hours are like message new Instagram followers, message commenters, message likers, message story watchers, right? So I send them all messages, and I'm just like, hey, thanks for being here. Like, thanks for hanging out with me in my stories. Thanks for liking and supporting my posts. Like, I'm not sending them cold invites. I'm just messaging them and connecting with them. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to their page and I'm like connecting with them. I'm asking them questions, watching their stories, laughing at their funny jokes on their stories, like spending time connecting with them and getting to know them. And then something else I'm doing is I find my tribe. So I go to other accounts that, like, and they're people that I know here in Nashville that are other fitness accounts, right? I go to their accounts and I look at who's following them because these are my friends. These are people that I like. Well, they're online friends. We haven't crossed over into hanging out in person a lot, just like a couple times. But these are people that I know, that I like, that I trust, okay? I go to their followers and I connect with people. I find people that are actively on their Instagram, like posting frequently, that are posting on their stories, that have a pretty feed because they obviously take the time to care about their social media. They obviously enjoy it, right? Because those are the people that I want on my team because they already like social media. I don't have to teach them how to use social media. So I like look for those kinds of people and I go and interact, ask questions, like laugh at their jokes, whatever, like actually engage with them in a very real way. And I've just really started honing in on this week, or like last week. And I already have like a coffee date with a girl this Thursday. Like already she's like, oh my gosh, I've actually never reached out to someone. She reached out to me and it was like, wow, it's so cool to like connect with somebody on here. Like, I've never reached out to someone, whatever. We were talking, she was asking questions about nutrition and anxiety, and I have a lot of tips on that. I've had anxiety my whole life, and we like laughed about it because she has too. But yeah, just like simple things, little connections here and there that are genuine, because I have a lot of fun doing that. Like, I didn't grow up with a lot of friends. I didn't have like this tribe, you know, so I have a lot of fun finding my tribe online because they weren't my, like, the people I grew up around were not my people at all. And so it's really cool that social media has this ability of bringing us all together, people that we would have never met before. And I have a lot of fun connecting with them. And I never feel weird because I treat social media the same way I treat real life. And I've done the cold messaging before and it's always felt super weird. And then when I was like, oh, but this is what I have to do. Like I thought this is what I have to do, so I'm going to do it, you know? But it never worked for me because I never enjoyed it. It didn't feel good. It wasn't my vibe. So it probably wasn't the vibe of the people that I was messaging either. So I don't cold invite anymore. And plus I think there's been a shift in social media anyway, where we have to go back to forming people. Like, I feel like for a couple years, the cold invite worked. I feel like it doesn't work anymore, to be honest. I feel like it has to be forming and connecting and building relationships. And I don't know how we got away from that, but we got to get back to it. So yeah, I never cold inviting was super weird for me, but what was I going to say? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry, I forgot. But connecting with people is fun. Finding your tribe is fun. And it, like I was saying earlier, like being more interested in other people, I think is the key component to building this business, to really connecting with people. Because if you're focused on just being interesting, again, you're focusing on me, right? And you're like, how can I build my audience? How can I look this way on social media? How can I do this, right? We're like focusing on ourselves. What we need to do is focus on other people. Like our goal is to connect with them and build these relationships. So you want to be more interested in your followers than you are trying to be interesting, if that makes sense. And it takes the pressure off, like thinking about other people and asking them questions versus you like having to talk the whole time. Like it's stressful. Like, oh my God, what if I say the wrong thing? You know, like that's stressful. But asking questions and being interested in them, like that's way less stressful because they should be talking more than you are talking. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I connect. I treat people like real life. There was who said it? It was what's her name? Danny on the National Wake Up Call. I think that's her name. When she talked about sending a cold invite is like going up to someone in the grocery store and just being like tapping them on the shoulder and being like, hey, do you want to join my team? I love your shirt. Like, it's weird, right? So you want to like think about it like it's real life, because it is. These are real life people on the other end of the screen. You want to treat them the same way you would treat someone in person. And it's way more fun. It's way more enjoyable. And if you're doing it right, if you're showing up every day on your stories, if you're showing up every day on your feed and you're showing the results, people are going to see what you're doing. You know what I mean? They're not going to, like, if you are only messaging people and interacting with people, but your page is private, that's not connecting because they can't interact with you. It's like if you, again, meet somebody in person and you're wearing like a ski mask, looking like a creeper, they can't see your face, they can't see you, but you're trying to have a conversation with them, they're going to be like, whoa, like, you trying to rob me? Like, what's going on? So like, think about it like you would in real life. You want people to see you. You want people to know what you're doing. You want to like show people who you are in some way. Like, of course, you don't have to share every single thing about your life. You are allowed to have privacy. I feel like sometimes people think with this business, you have to be completely transparent all the time and air everything out. And that is completely not the case. Like, you don't have to air all your laundry. and tell everybody everything. You are in control of what you share, of course, and there is, you know, some vulnerability and courage because that connects with people, you know, like, but you don't have to talk about things you don't want to talk about. I just wanted to say that. So yeah, just show up on your story, show up on your feed, like show people what you're doing, have fun, because people want to have more fun. Like they don't need to be serious. They don't need to be stressed or whatever. They want to have fun. They want to be a part of something. They want to do something that's going to change their life. So show them how it's going to change their life. Why doing what you're doing could be good for them. Like paint the picture. Use your whole platform as a way to paint the picture and make friends. Like that's how I think about it is when I'm connecting with people, I'm making friends. I want to connect with people that I would want to hang out in real life because if they're on my team, we're going to hang out in real life. So I want to make sure that I like them. We go on retreats, we go to Summit, we go to the Success Club trips. Like I want to be in a good vibe zone. Like I don't want to be awkward, walking on eggshells. Like I want to be myself. I want to be good vibes. Like, so I want to be able to hang out with people that I like. So that's what I look for. And then building momentum in this last few months going into 2020, what builds momentum? Because I was like, how are you building momentum? Like I didn't really understand, but the people that you're talking to, if you're talking to the people every day, that adds up. You know, you're like filling the cup, you're filling the cup, you're filling the cup. And the results that you're getting builds momentum too. Like keep showing up, keep like, don't just get results and then disappear, or don't just like say you're doing a program and never show results. Like breadcrumb it, tell the story, show the outline, like show the whole picture, like what's going on. And that's going to build momentum because you're continuing to connect with people and build relationships, and you're showing what you're doing. They're going to like, know, and trust you because they're getting to know you. And if you're completely yourself, which I think takes a little while to find your footing. I know for me, like I didn't know who I was when I first started. So I like tried on different masks, you know, like, is this me? Is this me? Like, I didn't know because I never really had the opportunity to know myself. I was like grind mode on 24/7. Like I didn't have time for extracurriculars. I didn't have time for anything. Like, and growing up, I didn't play sports. I didn't do music. I didn't do arts. Like it was survival mode until I found coaching. So that was like such a gift that coaching gave me, was finding out who I am and what I want in this life. And then I get to give other people the space to do that. And I don't hound them. I want to cultivate like growth and independence, you know, and give people the space to be on their journey, but not hound them about reaching their goals, because that's on them. It's not on me. But I just want to always provide a safe, loving, happy zone for people to like have the same opportunity that I have had to change my life. So yeah, that's it. Like we have, where are we? October, November, December. And this is really a super fun time to be a coach, to amp it up, like get shredded under your layers. Like you don't have to only feel good. I did a post today, like you don't have to only feel good in your jeans in the summertime. Like I know we're gonna be bundled up in the winter, but like that doesn't mean we have to like put on layers of our body too. It's a fun time to get results. It's a fun time to work on ourselves. It's a fun time to show people what's possible. And what we do now is building us up for what's to come in the new year. So let's freaking do it. So yeah, totally. If you have questions, we can open it up for that if you guys would like. Yes, we should boomerang. Do a boomy. I think this is the biggest call I've ever done. So I almost threw up, just so you know. I mean, I've done a call for Set Your Soul on Fire, but I was like on a live. I didn't have to see everyone. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'll do a Boomi and I can post it on the page for you guys. Where's my Boom? Okay, you ready? 1, 2, Boomi. Cool. Okay, one last call. Any questions, any takeaways, anything? You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. You're welcome. So there was a question, well, a statement about like the confidence to talk on your stories. Something that really helped me, because we didn't have stories or live or anything like that when I first started. We had YouTube, and I felt like that was a big deal to like make a video and put it on YouTube. But I just acted like I was talking to a friend, and that always helps me. So it's like you're talking to your BFF. And it's cool because you can't see everyone on the other side. So it's like you just see yourself. So that's, I think, helpful. And the more you do it, the better you get, you know? Like the more you show up, like if I find that I am going through a hermit phase and I don't talk on my stories for a while, it takes like a little while to get back into it, you know? I feel like a little awkward and I'm like out of practice, you know, it feels like. But once you get going, you like pick it up pretty quickly, I feel like. Oh, filters, yeah, true. Cool. Well, thanks for having me, you guys. I really appreciate it. And we'll have this recording up probably tomorrow or something. I don't know. Cool. Awesome. Have a great night, you guys.